I don't know what gambit means. I never watched The Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
A gambit is, I believe, when, by definition, we're going to look it up just so we can get the proper one, but I believe it's like when you make a risk, not looking at it to the record, you make a risk with like a calculated decision, like a risk, you know?
Okay.
By definition, a gambit is a device, action, or opening remark, typically one entailing a degree of risk that is calculated at an advantage. Hence why the queen is the queen's gambit, because you're using the queen at an advantage to like, make another play.
I thought the king was more important than the queen.
Well, the king is like the winning piece, but the queen is the important point of like it can move everywhere in the space of the board.
Oh, see, yeah, I've never done chess.
It can move omnidirectional, which means it can
Okay.
move diagonally anyway, left or right, up or down anyway, and any number of spaces that it can move.
Sick. You should teach me how to play chess?
You want
right
me to teach
now. Actually, bad idea.
That's a horrible idea.
I get stressed.
But you know, it's not a horrible idea. Introducing the episode, hello and welcome to the 1 to 10 podcast. A little bit of a different look tonight. As you can see, we are Dursless. He's turned into a soundboard.
Yep.
It's no longer on the table with Durs here. He's turned into it.
Hey, Durs.
And then Parm turned into a white woman. What's up, Parm? I'm just kidding. This is my lovely girlfriend Samantha. Parm has a family issue, predisposed, and Durs actually has turned into the soundboard.
Yes.
You know, it is what it is. We're trying to actively work on turning him back. Jamie's hard at work editing and trying to edit him in and cut him in. We'll see if he makes it. I don't think he will, considering he is the soundboard. But it is what it is. So
we'll lose sound if we add Durs back in, right? Is that how that works?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, he's the soundboard now. If we add him in,
oh yeah, no,
then we don't have a soundboard. You don't have an episode with sound. You're screwed.
That's true. That's true. And we only have 2 white passing people right now, so we can't make all of it magically appear.
Yikes.
As podcast culture concurs. So,
yikes.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm Parm.
Hi, Parm. No, for real, Samantha, how are you?
Oh, I'm cool. It's a Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It feels weird to record the pod on a Wednesday.
Wait, do people wear pink on Wednesdays?
On Wednesdays, we do wear pink.
Okay, I'm wearing
pink today. That is a Mean
today.
Girls reference. Also, that date, the October 3rd, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, that was the other day.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I know, right? It's pretty cool.
I don't remember watching Mean Girls.
How?
Or, oh, no, okay. I don't like Mean Girls.
Let's talk about
this. But I've never seen Clueless.
Okay, that's also an insane notion. But we'll get there, because Clueless is like the precursor to Mean Girls existing.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. As someone who's seen both and likes both of the movies.
Okay.
From like the age of when they both came out. Because I watched Clueless on VHS. No, I just thought Clueless was a cool movie when I was younger. I thought it was good. Okay. Anyways, we have been recently like watching a few more movies.
Who?
Us. The two of us.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That are more like movies that I made a joke about how like Austin Powers is a movie I hold in the same regard as Rush Hour, and she hadn't seen Rush Hour, and I was like, how? Rush Hour is so good. So yeah, we were watching Rush Hour 1. We still have to finish like the back half of it.
We still have like an hour.
40 minutes, 50 minutes.
We have a while to go. I'm really excited to finish Rush Hour, actually.
Yeah, how do you feel about it so far?
I love Rush Hour.
How do you feel about the fact that when we started watching it on Netflix, because we had subtitles on, which would give subtitles to the English words, it didn't give the subtitles that are native to the movie that are the Chinese parts. I would like
to restart the first like 5 to 10 minutes.
Because the main villain of the film, yeah, like he literally says things to Jackie Chan and makes like faces at him and does like this whole thing. It's very performative and it was good without it. But like
there was a lot happening and I had no idea what was going on.
I mean, it was crime.
It was a different language.
I don't speak. It was Mandarin. It was specifically.
Was it?
Yeah, China.
Wow, I really liked his hair. He was like platinum blonde, but he was shaven.
Very 1999.
It was very
1999.
Very like NSYNC feel.
Oh yeah.
It was nice.
Which member of NSYNC do you think he could have replaced?
I don't know names.
Chris Kirkpatrick, Joey Fatone, Justin Timberlake, JC Chazé, Lance Bass.
I don't know. Can you show me a picture?
You also have a phone.
Oh my god, I do have a phone.
Yeah, you should look up the images of them.
That's so nice of you.
I will also pull them up on my phone so I can show you them and we can reference this. And audio listeners at home, fuck you. You obviously don't get images. Video listeners, I'm not gonna put an image of the NSYNC guys up. Like it's NSYNC. Maybe the thumbnail. They might make the thumbnail. We'll never know. Okay.
Ooh.
So from left to right here, right?
Okay.
Okay. Hang on 1 second.
I'm looking at the photo.
Okay. So left, JC Chazé. There's Chris Kirkpatrick, Joey Fatone, Justin Timberlake, Lance Bass.
I'm gonna say Lance.
You would replace Lance with the Chinese guy from Rush Hour?
No, wait.
That's a crazy take. I'm just
No.
kidding. That's not a crazy take. That's probably fine.
I thought we were going like most similar hair. I thought that's what we were comparing. If this is right, I want to say the very left guy. That looks like he just looks like he knows something. There's like that spark
Can I
in
see
his
the image
eye.
you're looking at so I can see which one?
This guy.
Oh, JC Chazet?
Yeah, he
Popular
looks like
of
the Hobbit.
what was the
In the
dance?
eye.
Do you remember the dance television show from MTV in the mid 2000s that had Jabberwockies win? It was essentially like
my
American
God.
Idol but dance crews on MTV.
Was it
Something-
on VH1 too?
No, it was on MTV only.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was
yeah.
Jabberwockies was the season 1 winner, and those guys are crazy. They wear like tracksuits and the fucking matching masks and stuff that fit on their head.
That's so crazy that they used to do all of that.
They still do it.
Not really. Nothing has like the 90s feel anymore.
First off, that was 2003, so
Well,
no.
the 2003 still felt
America's
like the 90s.
Best Dance Crew in 2008 is the show. So it was 2008 when I was in high school and you were in middle school. So think about that.
Shit, how old was I in 2008?
I don't know. How old are you now?
I'm 26.
So it's 2022.
Okay.
So let's subtract 14.
I don't do math.
So subtract 14 off that you were 12.
I was 12.
Yeah, you're like that meme in Bad News Bears with the
Yikes.
crayon like ID drama. That
What grade is that?
I don't know. Were you like in 7th grade probably?
Oh,
Either way, so America's
Man,
Best
that's
Dance
nasty.
Crew, man.
yeah.
Yeah, you're old. Get used to it. Wait till you hit 30 like me and you're
Yikes.
decrepit and falling apart.
Yikes.
Much like the king is falling apart in Game of Thrones House of Durgan. Samantha, which incest episode was better? The newest one or the one earlier where like Damon almost got her? It's the current one. The reason why, the dragon shit. All the shit that happened with Aemond.
Okay.
All that
yeah,
shit was fucking bussin'.
fucking insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. I like to see how it all happened, and like it's a fun interpretation because I have read Fire and Blood, and it's probably
You
my
did?
a long time ago.
I didn't know that.
It's like the
We've been
second
watching
or
this.
third Game of Thrones book, right?
I have no idea.
It's an old, it's a not super new one. It's been around for a little bit. So, oh, by the way, this episode is sponsored unofficially by Liquid Death. Liquid Death, murder your thirst. Samantha, how do you feel about Liquid Death?
I like it. It's water in a can.
I like the can because it is a nice vessel for it to travel in. I also like that I've gotten
Mm.
carded for a case of the berry water. That was funny.
That's really funny. I miss the berry water though.
Yeah, we'll have to get some more of that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to. Stop unofficially sponsoring us, and start officially sponsoring us Liquid Death so we can have, maybe like a case or two. That'd be nice.
All the time.
Or
We should
just
have
like,
a
once.
liquid death fridge. Yeah. I
concur.
would take another fridge.
I like fridges.
Yeah.
They're boxes. They keep things cold. And that's
Cold
neat.
boxes.
Yo, that's a cold box.
I will say. So out of all of the incest that Game of Thrones have ever had,
Mm-hmm.
did not like the Jaime Cersei at all.
Yeah, that was
Hated it.
Yeah, everyone kind of was like, "Ee."
And then this stuff, I'm like all for it. I'm like, wow, this is fucking great. You gotta keep the bloodline pure.
So the Lannisters are just like weird rat people, though, and that's why we don't like them.
Yeah, you look at their
But when
faces.
you see the
and-
Targaryens, they're like, oh, they actually are pure blood, and that's why you enjoy that more.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, that's weirdly
like
that's
romantic.
weirdly eugenically racist, but I'll accept it for what it is.
Okay, that's not what I was trying to
It's all right,
do.
Parm. You're allowed to do this as
Oh.
the resident brown person of the podcast. I'm sorry, that was bad.
Thank
It's
you.
staying though. But
Yikes.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't love the incest stuff, but like the Daemon, the Daemon Targaryen Rhaenyra thing makes sense to me at least.
I just love Matt Smith.
The twist at the end of the episode,
Poof.
man, the fact that they actually
Jeez.
let what's his name, Leonor.
Leonor?
Yeah, Leonor got away with Sir Carl, really, but Carl.
Man, he's bald. He got rid of those beautiful white
Dude.
dreads.
Yeah, he shaved his head.
So
Crazy,
Oh my God.
crazy how
And
he
they
did that.
threw the. Can I say any of this? Is
Yeah.
this like basically like a spoiler episode?
Oh, you don't know the
It's like
policy here on 1 to
always.
10?
It's always.
So the
spoilers.
policy at 1 to 10 is that if you're watching the episode, that you have subjugated like yourself to spoilers.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
they
we already
threw
talked about like the
another body
Yeah.
into the fire.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like
That
I
was
did not
crazy.
see that coming at all.
Yeah, it was pretty nutty. That was the one part of the episode that really had me jaw dropped. I mean, it was a good episode generally. I enjoyed like the children infighting thing.
Man, they're poor parents though. They already lost 2 kids. They have no one else. What's gonna happen with that? Who's gonna get his dragon?
Who's dragon?
Laenor's dragon. Laenor has a dragon, does he not?
Ooh,
He does.
I don't remember if Lenore is a dragon rider or not. Actually,
Shut up.
I know he's a knight. I think he's a knight. I don't think he's a dragon rider. But his kids are with Daemon, obviously. Because
that was weird.
Well, no, they're not. It's not weird because like his kids aren't even his kids.
Yeah.
They're technically Sir
yeah.
Harwin Strong's kids.
Ugh.
And they're with Rhaenyra, who's their mother. So nothing's gonna happen to them. They're with their respective parent who is alive, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It is a tragedy, though, that the children of Driftmark have both died, quote unquote, in the world of Westeros right now.
It's really sad.
Is it sad?
Yeah.
I mean, Lena, I felt sad for. She had a tragic fate
rough.
of this whole show. She comes in as this child who doesn't want to wed Viserys, and then she becomes an adult who gets married to Daemon, and unsettlingly wants to go home, and she's not allowed to, and then commits seppuku. So
what?
Seppuku, the Japanese term for like suicide thing, the whole like something like this. Anyway,
it had to be done.
Yeah,
there was no other way.
I feel like I know this is how she does it in the book.
She didn't want
this is from the source material. Well, no, I get that, and she was not about that, and she wanted to go home before that too. So it was rough. But like,
oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think.
I'm not saying that it's not rough. That like she died for sake of child or whatever. Like that's a horrible thing. But it's the same fate that like other people have met too. And she had 2 daughters and no son. And this is how these people act when they want an heir. They will literally murder their partner of years, 10 years plus, with 2 others. Like it's fucked. So I kind of I don't know if it had to happen. That's all I'm saying. But I do understand like she takes it into her own hands and decides her own fate, and would rather go out in dragon fire than she would being murdered by the blade for the sake of an heir.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. Almost as crazy as Aemon taking control of her dragon, and
that was upsetting.
Yeah, we're in for some shit coming up soon. I have a feeling. I think season quote unquote 2, if there, I don't know why I keep saying quote unquote so much, but if there is a season 2,
I think there is.
Yeah, I think that I think there's an announced like very recently that there's season 2 coming out, that's great. I mean, I don't know. They announced season 2 the day after or 2 days after the premiere. I remember this now. We talked about this on the pod already. Like,
so excited.
How many weeks has it been since that show came out? Because it was a 1 episode premiere, correct? Wasn't it 2?
Yeah, it was
one.
just 1.
So we've gotten 6 episodes through. Is that right?
Yeah.
Damn.
I believe so.
Damn. Let's talk about the other fantasy television show going on. We talk about that a lot on the pod.
Big Mouth?
That's the one. Crazy on Netflix.
That's coming out October 28th.
Like really another season?
Yes, I'm so excited.
They can just crank that shit out sometimes. And it's
love
impressive.
Big Mouth.
Yeah, Big Mouth it's good. It's good. It's just so much of the same, I think, to me, and that's why
funny.
I like. It's funny, but I feel like if I go back, or I have tried to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
After the first season, it's like the same thing, but just ramped up, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want that.
It brings out the inner 12-year-old boy that would draw penises all over things.
In
I
you?
still do that. Okay.
Well, what I'm saying is that you're not a 12-year-old boy, so it brings out your inner 12-year-old boy, right?
Yeah, my inner 12-year-old boy that draws penises on everything.
You still do that. You're a 26-year-old woman.
Hell yeah, I do.
All right, fair enough. We acknowledge that that's the truth of the lore now.
Yeah.
So, hey, we play a little game here on 1 to 10. Durs is the soundboard, so you can't really play the game this round. But Parm, let me ask you this question: what episode number is it?
32.
Damn, you're so close. I believe it's 31, actually. Let me double check.
Oh my god, yeah, please check.
Let me double check with Jamie. We're gonna hit him up.
Are we counting this episode?
This is the episode that is the number.
Ooh.
That is the question that's being asked.
Ooh.
Yes.
Am I technically a guest star?
You are a guest on this episode.
Wow. Am I the first lady guest?
You are the first lady guest.
Wow. You've seen my hand before in various episodes, I believe.
I mean, other than when Parm balls fall out of his skirt, but that just is how it is. Yeah, it is currently. One second.
Yeah.
Episode 31.
Wow.
You were close. Impressive, Parm. I'm glad your memory is sharpening up every time.
Thank you. I really try.
Yeah, so Rings of Power.
Yes.
Wow. So much like Tolkien's works of fiction, it has incredibly big gaps of slow bullshit. And then some crazy shit just happens.
Like sweeping landscapes.
That shit was funny. A little context there, listener. We were at a family member's gathering, and it was revealed that an uncle that she is quite fond of, he was like a huge Star Wars fan, big kind of nerd, actually, cool guy, really really fun to be around. He did not really care for Lord of the Rings, and neither did his wife, because it was so many just sweeping landscapes, and they were in the front row. They admitted when they went and saw it in theaters, which, hey, you fucked up, because this shit's busting. It's one of the greatest stories ever told. And
it was like post 9 p.m. too.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get that The Fellowship is not the most enticing movie, and that you would be like possibly, I don't know, fatigued trying to watch it in a way of like looking straight up. And
yeah,
I get it. I'm not doubting that they didn't have the best experience in the movie theater. It's more just so about the fact that, like, hey, I get that you didn't have a good experience, but it doesn't mean that what you're missing out on is not one of the greatest things to ever have been written.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, Tolkien's a pretty good writer. It's like he wrote this whole other like world and language and ideology and legendarium of things. Tolkien's amazing. Now, here's something that I want to spit a little knowledge on you about before we talk about the actual meat of the episode.
Okay.
I was reading something before we started recording about the negotiations of acquiring a show or anyone who in the past has acquired things. So basically, information was publicly released that Netflix actually made a bigger bid than Amazon did in the past to get essentially like an MCU style set of series where they would have had like an Aragorn show, and they would have had a Gandalf show, and they would have had like, you know, maybe a mini series or like a movie or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But they made like a $250 million bid, which was the bid that we originally heard for Amazon towards the estate, and then obviously it's $1 billion production, but 250 million is what was paid towards the Tolkien estate for the rights. But it was actually tens of millions less, allegedly. So let's say it's somewhere close to 200 million that they paid the Tolkien estate to create this. But what they revealed was that it was one mostly on their faith and their commitment, because other people are pitching like ideas, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like not pitching a series. They're like, we want to do something, but we want to honor the spirit of Tolkien and like the estate and everything.
Is he dead?
Tolkien's been dead for a long time.
How long?
Oh God.
Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie's hitting me on the line now. I love how you ask questions, but don't just, you know, like Google them on your phone yourself to answer them. Yeah. 1973.
Oh, wow.
He was born in 1892, died in 1973.
So he didn't see the movies?
Of course not.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is George Lucas still alive?
Yes, honey.
Okay, cool. That's
all right,
good.
All right. Anyways,
okay, back to it.
Let's get back to it. So Tolkien's estate has more than given their consent, but like also is apparently having like a heavier influence on the way the show is playing out. So something that has been of concern by a lot of people, from what I understand, is that they're not sure how faithful this is being to Tolkien's works and how well this is going to be perceived. And my question to you, as someone who's watched every episode with me, would be whether or not you believe that this is, now that you know this information, that the Tolkien's estate is working with them based on this idea of like faith towards the actual adaptation of his creations. Would you say that this show now, especially in the context of the newest episode, how everything's happened, that this is like in the Lord of the Rings, for like this works for you? When do you get the same feeling of watching the Lord of the Rings as you do this? Because for me, yes, it does. Prior, but now I'm just more reaffirmed in my belief, but I understand that I'm biased.
I'm gonna I don't know if you're gonna like what I'm gonna say next.
Let me hear it.
I don't remember watching all of the Lord of the Rings
Well, yeah, it's a
movies.
12-hour story, so I don't blame you for not remembering everything.
I don't know if I've like skipped a few or whatever.
Well, that's another thing we need to touch on, but yeah, you need to watch those.
I was gonna say that like 5 minutes ago, but you wouldn't stop talking. It's like it's a podcast or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was like they were filling time and just recording something with like words.
You crazy.
Anyways, Oh yeah, well actually it's weird because I've been wanting to do nothing but rewatch them recently,
I would definitely watch them.
but I want to watch the extended cuts.
How long are the extended cuts?
I mean, they're like the 4-hour ones. Oh, shut up! It's not like we don't pause movies and watch them in pieces, anyways.
okay, but
Yeah,
that's a good
and it's
point.
not like I'm not like the king of being like, here's a
Are you
scene
gonna
change.
fall asleep like an hour and a half in though?
I want
Or
to
just
watch
get really
them
sleepy?
because
I don't know.
okay, hear me out. You want to watch them because you haven't seen them and you need to like refresh, or you have seen them at pieces and don't remember. I want to watch them because I love them so much that I want that shit injected into my veins. I think that the reference point here that could prove what I was saying would be
Okay.
me showing you my YouTube history from like the last like 3 days, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, that's a lot of Lord of the Rings adjacent content."
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm deep in it, man, because I'm here for this. Is who is Sauron?
Oh, yeah.
We're this fucking close, I feel
I
like, to being
am.
like, we're gonna find out who he is within some context in the show.
How many episodes are there in this series?
I
Do we
believe
know?
I want to say it's 8. I want to say it's
We're
8,
close.
but I heard that it was originally 10. So it sounds like, and
Stop.
that maybe even 10 were shot.
Stop.
So what it sounds like is they shrunk things down to make it into an 8-hour story instead of a 10-hour story. And that means that there would also be an extended version of season 1, theoretically, with more footage.
I will say, I do like how they cut like back and forth between the different like characters constantly.
Okay, I'm gonna take a gripe against that actually.
Yes.
So you say you like it.
Kind of, yes.
Okay, so what parts of it do you like?
I like.
I want to hear your opinion, not disregard you. That's why I gotta let you talk first.
Thanks, that's so kind of you.
I'm just saying.
I like the transition back and forth because I kind of know, like, oh, like we haven't seen this person in a while. We'll have to go back and like check on them. But then I get really upset because I want to constantly know what's going on everywhere. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
Can we have like 5 or 6 screens going where we just see constantly of what's happening?
No.
Because
Okay. I think what you need to do is reflect on what the success of the Lord of the Rings is that the Lord of the Rings, the way it presents itself in both book and movie form, is that it is telling segments of people's stories, right, once they're apart.
Okay.
There's parts where they're together, where it's the fellowship, right, and people are coming together and doing different things. And then they're all in one group, and then at the end of the fellowship, they split up. And so it's like Gandalf, lost and gone, and then Gimli, Aragorn, and Legolas off together in one group. You have the hobbits doing their part of the story, and Samwise and Frodo, going off. You have Merry and Pippin's part of the story. So sometimes there are things that are happening simultaneously, and they'll jump from thing to thing, and then those things play out, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes they're really doing one thing. It's like, here's a whole day's of people's stuff, and then here's another person the whole day, and then like sometimes those stories interconnect, right?
Yeah.
That's what Lord of the Rings always has done well. And that's what I think this show did very well in this episode, was we finally brought together a couple things. So you had like the Numenorians on the sea, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying like, oh, it'll be a day or two, and then a day's ride, right? And then it's like an overnight sequence, and then they ride, and then they're there, which is interesting because basically what they're doing is like they're setting up the like.
That was
they're setting
crazy.
up like the way that the battle happens at Ostirith first, and then they move to the next town, and there's the next day, right? So they move that pacing well. Like they're saying this one day is this, one day is this.
Yeah.
So they finally, actually, what they did really well in this episode was they took these timelines, which we were unsure of how they're going to thread together because people are in different places.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly like what the sequence of time that is passing day by day for each one is. So now we are on a collision of like things are happening in real time. And the reason I say that too, especially, is because this is why I actually enjoy I don't enjoy like the jumping from people to people. I've actually voiced that on the pod. Like I've really had a hard time with like some of the threads, especially the Harfoots, because they'll go away for an entire episode.
Yeah.
And then you don't even see them or hear from them, and then you jump back to them for the next episode, and then you don't hear from them again for a whole one, and then you jump back for 15 minutes of an episode.
Yeah, they're traveling. Do you want to see them travel the whole time?
No, but I want to understand their significance in this story at this point, and I really am having a hard time because of the stranger.
Yeah.
It is the stranger, but we'll get there.
Stranger.
So what I'm saying is that like having the men of Numenor and Galadriel meeting up with the effort of Arondir, and like the battle in the Southlands for Ostirith, the creation of Mount Doom, theoretically, all those things. Yeah. Like seeing that is just really exciting. That was like the big punch for this season. I think finally it needed, because it's been a little bit of action here and there, but not a lot. But this is like, this is a big battle sequence episode. Obviously, this is like where a lot of the money was spent for this season, from what I understand.
I'm not surprised. It was blood pumping.
Well, here's the deal. So season 2 was recently announced. It's definitely happening.
For Rings of Power?
Yep.
How long is it gonna be until we have that?
I don't know.
Ugh,
I
I
mean,
hate
they produce it,
waiting.
but like, here's the thing: I don't think they spent $1 billion on one season. I think
Yeah.
they've spent like $1 billion overall on the project so far, which means I think they're working that. But here's what I think is part of the issue. I've heard that writing is a big criticism. That's like a reasonable one. Some of the writing of the things is rough,
Mm.
but from what I've heard is that up to season 3 scripts are being finalized.
Oh.
Yeah, so if writing's bad
Wow.
now and they haven't fixed some of their issues, who knows how quickly this is going to be corrected. Yay.
Ooh.
So exciting to see stuff. So now with in mind, knowing that we had this, like, let's just talk about everything that happened really quick in the episode.
Okay.
Adar and the orcs take Ostirith. Said is trapped by Arondir, the elf, that racists want to talk about all the time. And Arondir is solo in this mission, locks them in the tower, sets it on fire, gets down to the town lower, away from Ostirith, where the townspeople who were hiding the tower made their way to for safety, and they set up the second part of their attack.
Yeah. Very thought through.
Well, not
For
really.
a moment.
Yeah,
For a moment.
yeah, until the twist.
Yeah.
So it's all well thought through. They survive the first round of the next attack, and then they start removing the helmets of the Uruk or the orcs, and only to be revealed that there are men in there also, which are men who are loyal to Sauron.
This is after they were partying, getting excited about winning.
Yeah, exactly. So they start celebrating, and then they quickly realize that, oh no, this is actually just men. These were the villagers who had turned on them right before this. So then it's revealed that it's the orcs. They barrel down in this one like little
tavern, yeah.
And then just in time, the Numenorians and Galadriel show up to save the day.
Literally uncanny timing.
Well, yeah, almost. But then Godric, is that his name? No, it's not Godric. It's the old man. Waldreg.
Oof, yeah.
Waldreg, the owner of the tavern in their town, who had the blade of Sauron hidden underneath his floorboards, or whatever it was, which is the key, ascends the Tower of Ostirith and uses the Mount Doom machine, as people are affectionately joking about it. I like that name.
Zoinks.
Yeah, so basically, it's revealed that the orcs' plan the whole time has been that they've been digging that tunnel system not to invade and attack as an army, but to have water flow down, and then it interacts with a dormant volcano, causing it to explode in a huge explosion of fire and ash, as one volcano does, creating Mount Doom in the Southlands that will become Mordor. So yeah, that was a big 1-2 punch. But here's an interesting thing. Let's talk about Adar, and let's talk about our good friend Halbrand. Okay, yeah. Halbrand, the would-be king of the Southlands.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And Adar, the father of the orcs, possibly the Urukai, is being even referred to as.
Yeah, what's their relationship?
Well, there's this scene between them, right, where he goes and sees him. He's like, "Do you remember me?" He's like, "No, I don't at all." He's like, "Perhaps I killed someone you loved. Perhaps, like, your mother, a sister, a child,
a lover."
He goes on the child thing, and that's where he gets all mad, right? And you see his face get super angry, and then Galadriel stops him from,
murder.
Yes. And then same thing happens later when Galadriel is interrogating him, gets mad, and almost kills Adar. And then Halbrand stops her. And then there's this very interesting exchange where he looks at him and he's walking away, and then Adar says, "Who are you?" And Halbrand just stops and then just walks away. Right? So he could have been referenced a town or a place or whatever, right? And he didn't do any of those things. So much so Halbrand has continued to be ever elusive in what his actual intentions or place of origin really is. He always says things but never truly alludes to it. If you aren't picking up what I'm putting down, guys, I kind of think Halbrand might be Sauron, but hear me out.
Yeah.
There's also I don't know, a 45% chance that we have yet to even see Sauron. We feel his influence, but we never quite see him. Much like we do in Lord of the Rings.
Yikes.
You never see Sauron. You only feel his presence, and it's an ever known thing. That's the thing that Sauron is why he's a compelling villain, is because he's an ever present threat, but he's so elusive in nature, and you never have to see him directly. But he's still it's a known, if he gets the one ring, all is lost. That was the whole Lord of the Rings thing, right? So with that in mind, there's a chance that we won't even see him. We might not even see him until like the last episode. Like, let's say the elves in Lindell get the forge going, and then like Celebrimbor like reports and he's just like, my lord, blah blah blah. I have finished. The forge is ready, and it's like good time for us to work or something. And it's like an elusive, like, other character you haven't even seen yet, which could be Anatar, Lord of the Gifts. For those who don't know, in Lord of the Rings lore, the Silmarillion, in the Second Age, Sauron, the Dark Lord, appears as a very fair elf, the fairest form possible, known as Anatar, Lord of the Gifts, disguises as an elf and invades them and convinces Celebrimbor, the head guy of forging for the elves, right? Yeah, convinces that guy to make some super forge so they can make the Rings of Power. Hence where we are headed.
Oh God, this is the show.
This is the show. This is the story of how the rings become forged. This is the history of the place. So what we're seeing here is the rise of Sauron appointing himself as king of the Southlands, or what would be Mordor, right? Declaring himself Dark Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The fall of Numenor, and the forging of the Rings of Power, leading to the final alliance of the last alliance of elves and men. Right. So right
Yikes.
now, what we are seeing currently is the creation and the influence that he is having on the Southlands and turning it into Mordor,
Yeah.
and probably his ascent to power, which is why I'm in the subscription of 55% chance it is Halbrand, because it feels like the obvious thing that could really be like someone who we don't really know who could be, and has this mysterious, how would you say?
Didn't
He's a mysterious presence to him because there's a lot of things he does that are just like, what the fuck? Like the crafting amazing swords, the claiming to be an amazing guild guy, like, or smith, the stealing things from Numenor, like the way he talked to Pharazôn when he was in jail.
Yeah.
Like that could be the first sign of Sauron in human form, pretending to get in the ear of Pharazôn before he even becomes king. This could already be him leading Pharazôn down the path of deception. We could already be seeing these things before we even see them. And that would be the beauty of it, because Sauron is the deceiver. Like, that is who he is.
Another thing. So the daddy of the orcs, that's what I'm going to call him.
Adar.
Yes.
It means father in Uruk speak, or black speech.
Yes, he did say something in the episode. He thought that he killed.
No, he said he killed Sauron.
He said he killed Sauron, yeah.
But what if he thought he killed him, and then he came back in another form, like Halbrand? Because Halbrand's quite a fair man as well. And he also stands quite tall and proud.
Yeah.
And Sauron was said to have taken a form of men when he appeared to men before the fall of Numenor, that he had taken form as a fair man that stood taller and of more stature than other men, like greater than any man. He took a form of a man greater than any man, essentially.
Yeah, and he beat the shit out of all those soldiers.
Yeah. He beat up 4 or 5 city guards at once. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. Quite handy with things. He shows up. He does
a lot of good things.
Well, yeah.
Not
appears,
good things.
It appears good. So this is why. But here's the thing. I feel like he could be a red herring. He's meant to throw us his way. He could also just be a Nazgul.
What is a Nazgul?
The ring wraiths, the Black Riders that try to get the ring from Frodo in the first movies. Yes, they are the fallen kings of the 9. So what's to say he is not one of the 9 kings who will fall to Sauron's influence once he receives the Ring of Power down the line?
Zoinks.
Yeah, man. There's theories working here. I could see this show going for. Let's take a guess. How many seasons do you think you can go for?
3.
I'm gonna say 4 or 5. I'm gonna say only on 4. Only on 4. Yeah, I could see it going for 4.
Wow.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is hype.
That's crazy.
Also, there's just so much lore that you can adapt, like in so many ways that you could make it really good.
So, do you think Amazon will keep it?
Well, I mean, they're already writing the script for season 3, so I'd hope they at least keep it through there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a success. It's a success, is it not?
I would say so. I did see some polls on Facebook and Instagram the other day.
Sure.
A lot of people liking Game of Thrones instead of...
Okay, there's no doubt in sentiment that Game of Thrones is the more compelling show because it has more interesting characters that keep things moving more interestingly. But like for fans,
yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think it just cuts deeper for someone who really appreciates it. I think I'm someone who's like in like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being someone who's like a true knower of the lore and deep celebrator of like what is all is Tolkien. I think I'm like a 7. Like I've read a lot of the books, and I've done a lot more of the understanding than I think the average person, or like someone who digs into videos. But like I'm not the guy who's like watched the movies and then watched a few lore videos.
Yeah.
I've done a lot more research than that. So I just kind of think like it's obvious to me that like my bias towards the show comes from just the world that it is and how much love I have for it. And
I
that
would
Game of
totally live
Thrones
there.
is interesting. In Middle Earth,
Yeah. I would live in Middle Earth.
that's a crazy take right now. It's dangerous times.
I would live in a safer place.
I would live
In a hobbit hole.
That's not a safe place right now because the Hobbit hole doesn't exist in
Yikes.
Rings of Power. I would
Eventually.
I'd say like the Elven cities are probably the safest places to live.
Wait. When is Bilbo going to be born?
Thousands of years.
Oh, are you kidding me?
We are in the second age in Rings of Power, and Bilbo was born in the third age.
How many years are in the age?
There's over 3,800, I believe, in the second age, and then there's like 3,000s in the third age too, like 3,000 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will say something. So the other night at midnight, I got an email from our apartment complex wanting a survey. Okay.
Okay.
And the survey was a poll over, are you watching Game of Thrones or Rings of Power? And yeah, it was super crazy. I was like,
I mean, it is like the
you're
prime
only
time
giving me
television.
two options.
No, it's the primetime television nowadays. Like this is what people do. You know, this is
crazy.
This
I
is
wanted
like,
to pick both.
Yeah, I get that, and I respect that quite a bit actually. 'Cause that's, you know.
So that's something I like to do.
Yeah, why did they not have a both option?
They didn't. I don't know.
That's weird.
It was so upsetting.
I'm sorry, my brain just kind of like farted, and then I had to like think about what actually just was being said and happened.
That's okay.
So I don't know. That is super weird, honestly. Something funny you said is that you want me to teach you chess earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the chess drama going on at all? Have you ever heard any of this when we've talked about it when we're recording the pod or anything?
Nope.
So Magnus Carlsen, he is a chess grandmaster. He's like the greatest player of all time, possibly, would someone say, alive currently. Fairly young guy, like in his 30s.
Oh shit.
He's a prodigy. There's actually a really good documentary on it called Magnus. So you should watch it. You'd probably like it a lot. But basically, there's this other guy named Hans Niemann. And Hans Niemann is like a 19-year-old who has progressed very fastly, like faster than anyone has ever progressed, statistically speaking, even faster than Magnus. And he's rising to the level of like beating Magnus in these tournament situations or making moves that seem illegal. So Magnus has been accusing Hans Niemann of cheating. And now, actually, at the World Chess Champion, or the U.S. Chess Championship, like today, there's a Twitch clip of him at the security checkpoint being scanned by a gun, like a radar gun, and like the comments are insanely like, you should have checked his ass, because the joke is that he has a vibrator in his butt that is making him know what moves to make.
Are you allowed to say that on the podcast?
I hope so. It's not getting edited out. Jamie doesn't. I mean, I said putting a vibrator in your butt. That's not even bad words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How would you how would that work? Is it like a quick vibration for like left?
I think the idea is just
right.
that it's any kind of thing that if it like vibrates twice, like you make like a move for this thing. If you do this, it does this.
They have those now where you can just stick them in and someone will control it.
It's a lovin's.
Is that what people are talking about?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the joke around it, probably. Yeah.
I wonder if those would actually be picked up.
Because
I don't think they have metal.
Well, I mean, they have silicone,
they have a battery.
whatever, right? Yeah, battery. But here's the thing: it'd be like someone using a phone to control it, and that's the thing, is that you can't have phones within a certain room. So for someone to be observing and controlling, it'd be, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole thing. There's a lot to this idea of that, how he's cheating, and over the board cheating is like the only way that in chess you can like have it known.
Unless you're like really bougie and you have a remote made, like they have those.
I'm not even gonna entertain this idea.
No, it is a good idea though. They have those remotes you could use for like your TV, your fan, your lights. Like it's a big thing. Yeah.
That is
maybe someone made that. People are smart.
I mean, they might be.
I want that.
But even more so crazy in the scandal of cheating recently has not been Hans Niemann's potential trepidations in the chess world or the guy from Try Guys who got kicked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck that. I don't care.
That was crazy.
I'm not gonna juice that content. Let's talk about the scandal of the century in the fishing world. Did you see that video that was going around? The guy who was accused of cheating in fishing, and he pulled like they pulled like ball weights out of this fish he submitted that he had caught. It was 8 pounds of weights.
That's what that.
Yeah, those little like iron balls, they were weights. And then he also put other fish inside the fish.
What the heck?
I know.
So I saw that little snippet and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna click it, but then I didn't.
Yeah, you should have. It was actually kind of
Yikes.
well. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?" And then someone else in the pod Discord posted about it, and I was like, "Wait, that's what that was?" And I went back and watched it again. And you should hear, like, if you watch it or you find it again, go back and listen to the people who are talking in the background because they say the funniest shit. Like they're just screaming, like, "Get him out of here!" It's so good. And you know, with that, we're gonna get out of here. It's been another episode of 1 in 10 Podcast. Thank you for the very special episode. Go down and like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong.
Yeah, tell me if you like my t-shirt.
Yeah, the Bukake did, and we carried that
Yes.
on our carpet. So, see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.